Vaya. So we are studying from chapter 31st. Lord Kapila's instructions on the movements of the living entities. And yesterday, in this chapter, we have studied till text 11, in which we discussed about the suffering that a jiva undergoes in the womb of the mother. So, under Rajasi Gati, the destination which are attained by the destinations which are attained by those who live their life primarily in mode of passion, that is being discussed over here in this chapter. So, having discussed the sufferings of the jiva in the mother's womb, now we come to the section where the fortunate jiva, the Bhagyavan jiva, we discussed this aspect yesterday, that how very special jiva he may be reminded of, depending on what he has practiced, he may be reminded of those principles of the path of transcendence that he has followed. And especially a devotee jiva, a Bhagyavan jiva, very special bhakta jiva, a devotee soul. So he prays to the Supreme Lord in mother's womb. And the proof of that prayer is that after coming out of mother's womb, that's the last life for the jiva. He attains Supreme Lord's shelter after that particular life. So in that particular manner, we see that the prayers that are offered by jiva, they are not offered by every jiva, but some very, very special jiva who has practiced a great deal of spiritual life in his prior birth, and that's how he is born with such a special prerogative. So let us now discuss the prayers of the jiva. So Jantur Uvacha, so Jantu here is being referred to the living entity, the soul. Jantu, one who takes birth, one who is undergoing the process of taking birth in the material world, uh, dying and taking birth again. That is a Jantu. So, Janturuvacha. तस्योपसन्नमवितुं जगदिच्छयात् नानातनोर्भुवि चलच्चरणारविन्दम् सोऽहं व्रजामि शरणं ह्यकुतो भयं मे येने दृशि गतिरदर्श सतोऽनुरूपा. Okay. So translation, Murlidhar Mukund Prabhu, can you read the translation?
Yes, Prabhu. The human soul says, I take shelter of the lotus feet of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, who appears in his various eternal forms and walks on the surface of the world. I take shelter of him only, because he can give me relief from all fear, and from him I have received this condition of life, which is just befitting my impious activities.
Yeah, so you can continue reading the translation of the further verses also whenever I call out to read.
Yes, Prabhu.
So, in the first verse, recognizing his suffering condition and recognizing that how he had forgotten the Supreme Lord because of which so much suffering he has undergone for so many lives. And in that position, considering himself also as fortunate that by Lord's mercy, such a knowledge, such a remembrance is coming to his heart. So the Jiva, first and foremost, he expresses the gratitude towards the Supreme Lord. And he surrenders, expresses his desire to surrender unto the Supreme Lord. So this verse is showing the gratitude of the Jiva and his desire to surrender. Soham vrajami sharanam. I take the refuge, I take the shelter of, I surrender unto. What do I surrender unto? Chalat charana ravindam. I take the shelter of, refuge of the lotus feet of the Lord, which are walking on the surface of the earth. Chalat charana ravindam. So, by this phrase, Chalat Charana Ravindam, Sridhar Swami says that this is speaking about Shri Krishna Avatar. Shri Krishna Avatara Bhiprayena. He says because Krishna walks on the surface of the earth, meaning in his Nara Leela, Supreme Personality of Godhead, Shri Krishna, or Prabhupada says in purport, Shri Rama. These personalities, they walk on the surface of the earth, right? Chalat Charana Ravindam. So, those who are walking, and especially bare feet, literally it means Chalat Charana Ravindam. So, those forms of Supreme Lord which are walking uh, on the earth by their own feet, bare feet. So Krishna, he walks, right? In Vrindavan, he walks bare feet, or other forms of Godhead like Sri Rama, Prabhupada says. So I take shelter of Sri Krishna. I take shelter of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, his lotus feet. So, what is the speciality of that Supreme Lord? Jagad ichchayat nana tanor bhuvi chalat charana ravindam. Jagad ichchaya. So, what does this mean? Jagat avitum ichchaya. With a desire to protect the worlds, with a desire to protect the universe, Attanana tano, he takes up various forms. That Supreme Lord who takes up various forms in order to protect the material world. Avitum means for the sake of protection. So I approach those two lotus feet, tasyopasannam. And this also aspect proves that it is talking about Sri Krishna, because Sri Krishna is actually the one who takes up various forms, right? He is avatari, and the avataras actually, they come from him. They emanate from him. So that's why Attanana Tano, one who takes up various forms or one who manifests various forms, meaning one who is manifesting those forms, he is Avatari, Amshi, and those forms, the Nana Tanus, they are the Avataras or Amshas. So it's like that. Ete cham shakala pumsaha. Krishnastu Bhagavan Swayam. So I take shelter of those two lotus feet of Supreme Lord, which are walking so beautifully on the surface of the earth, bhuvi. And by taking that shelter, what is happening? Hyakuto bhayam me. By taking the shelter of those lotus feet, I am able to overcome all the fear. This condition that the child is in mother's womb, it's a very precarious condition. It's a very fearful condition. Something goes wrong, then the child can even lose the life in the mother's womb. It happens, right? So many times in this world. So by taking shelter of those two lotus feet of the Lord, he is saying, Akuto bhayam, I become free from that fear of the material existence. Yene drishi gatiradarsh satonu rupa. And I take shelter of that Supreme Lord, because by whom, Yena, uh, because of whom, or because of by whom, idrishi gati adarsha, idrishi gati adarshi. This sort of situation is shown to me by that Supreme Lord, and it is very appropriate. Asatonu rupa, because I am such an asat. uh, I am such an evil person. So Krishna has actually showed a very appropriate condition to me. See, you can see the gratitude of the jiva here. He is not blaming the Lord, or he is not thinking Lord is cruel to put him in that condition or something, or he is even apathetic, he is indifferent. He is not thinking like that. In fact, he says that very anurup, this is very appropriate, that Sri Krishna, he had shown me actually this condition, this suffering in the mother's womb. It's very anurup to me, because I forgot him, because I never had any interest in his lotus feet. So that's why I am asat. I am actually unscrupulous. Prabhupada says impious, for such an impious soul like me. So Krishna had shown very, very appropriate uh, condition. This suffering in the mother's womb. Or, this gati can also refer to that in this suffering condition, Krishna has given me remembrance of his lotus feet and the desire to surrender unto his lotus feet. So I take shelter of his lotus feet, because only by his mercy I have been blessed with this consciousness now to approach his lotus feet. So in that case, the jiva, he is even considering even more positive aspect, that actually I'm grateful to Krishna for showing me this, clarity of thought, this consciousness in which I understand that now I should take shelter of his lotus feet. So this purti, this remembrance of Supreme Lord, how is it coming in my heart? It is coming by Shri Krishna's mercy only. That's why yena idrishi gatiradarshi. So actually, this situation of remembering him so intensely, that is shown by the Supreme Lord only. That's why actually, who is other one? Who else is there whose shelter I will take? Huh? Because by his great mercy, even in such a suffering condition, and even in such a precarious condition, uh, he has actually inspired within my heart the remembrance of his lotus feet. So I'm very, very grateful to that Supreme Lord, he is saying. And that's why I just want to take shelter of his lotus feet. In this way, he is praying. Prabhupada. The word Chalat Charanarabindam refers to Supreme Personality of Godhead, who actually walks or travels upon the surface of the world. For example, Lord Ramachandra or Lord Krishna also walked just like an ordinary man. The prayer is therefore offered to the Supreme Personality of Godhead, who descends to the surface of the earth. What is the purpose? For the protection of pious and destruction of impious. Paritranaya sadhunam vinashaya chadushkritam. So that aspect is spoken here also. Jagad ichchaya avitum. Ichchaya means Krishna is coming on his own. He is coming by his sweet will. And why is he coming? Jagad avitum, in order to protect the universe. Krishna does not come in this world by karma. We come by karma. But Krishna comes by swecha. He comes by his own desire. So sometimes whenever the comparison is being made between Krishna's and the Jiva's birth, then you will see that for Jiva's birth, always words such as karmana, daiva netrena, such word will be used. Karmana daiva netrena, jantur dehopapattaye. So we see that for the Jiva, the word that is used is karmana. Or daiva and such words. But for Krishna, it will not be like this. What words? Ichchaya, Leelaya, Atmamayaya, such words are used. So he actually appears by his own sweet will in order to show his compassion for the living entities, in order to protect the sadhus and annihilate the miscreants. So Prabhupada points that out also. Another significant point in this verse is Lord comes by his own will. As Krishna confirms, Sambhavami Atma Mayaya. Whenever that Maya word is used in case of Krishna, no? So Jiva Goswami gives certain meanings. Like he says that here, Maya means, usually he gives the meaning as, Maya means Kripaya. Maya Dambhe Kripayancha. Kripa. So Krishna comes in this world in order to bestow the favor on the living entities, favor on his devotees, like that. So that's the meaning of Maya. Or another meaning of Maya is prema also, love. Even in vernaculars like Marathi, Maya means actually love. That word is very common. So that aspect, Krishna is coming with a great love for the living entities. And the special word will be there usually, Atma Mayaya, he comes by his own internal potency, this way. So that's what. So he does not assume any form as the impersonalists think, because he comes at his own will. He only manifests the form. The forms are already there. It's not that he accepts a certain form. Sometimes the word may be used, acceptance and all, but that basically means prakatikaran, manifestation. Krishna only manifests the forms and unmanifests the form. Or Krishna meaning all amshas of the Lord which come in the material world, So they are actually Mahavishnu's amshas, precisely speaking. But because Mahavishnu is also amshas, or all the way from Krishna, so we are speaking in the sense that Krishna's expansions, like that. So in that sense, as the Supreme Lord puts the living entity into the condition of horrible existence here, he can also deliver him. And therefore, one should seek shelter at the lotus feet of Krishna. Krishna says, Sarvadharman Parityajya, Mamekam Sharanam Vraja. So here is the Jiva taking shelter. Soham Vrajami Sharanam, Chalat Charana Ravindam. So this is how anyone who approaches the Supreme Lord does not come back again to accept a form in material existence. So Tyaktva Deham Punarjanma Naiti Mameti So Arjuna. So we see that Supreme Lord's, that shelter is being taken by the Jiva in the first verse. So, if the question were to be asked, objection, akshepa. If suppose there is an akshepa that, okay, who is this Supreme Lord? And who are you? And what is the difference between you and Supreme Lord? Please tell us about this Supreme Lord that you are saying we should take shelter of. So then, in the next verse, he speaks about Supreme Lord's position within his own body. So these two verses, 13 and 14, they are talking about difference between the Jiva and the Supreme Lord. Although both are there in the same body. So Jivatma is telling that, but Lord is not like me. Even though being in my body, but actually he remains completely transcendental. Yastvatra baddha iva karma viravritatma bhutendriyashayamyim avalambya mayam aste vishuddham avikaram akhanda bodham atapyamana hridhaye vasitam namami. Yes, Prabhu.
I, the pure soul, appearing now, bound by my activities, am lying in the womb of my mother by the arrangement of Maya. I offer my respectful obeisances unto him, who is also here with me, but who is unaffected and changeless. He is unlimited, but he is perceived in the repentant heart. To him I offer my respectful obeisances.
Yes. So who is that Supreme Lord? Jastvatra baddha eva karma bhiravrutatma. Yahatu atra. That Supreme Lord is also atra, in this body only. Baddha eva. He is as if bound. He is as if bound. Karma bhiravrutatma bhutendriyashayam avim avalambya mayam. So we can see that karma bhiravritatma, this is referring to the jiva. He says that actually my form is covered by the body which I have received by karma. Karma bhihi avrut atma. But when Lord is there in this body, it may appear like he is also bound like me, but the word is eva. Not, he is not bound, as if bound, but he is not. I am bound because karma bhiravrutatma. Bhutendriya shayamayim avalambya mayam. So in this world, he has accepted the Maya, meaning he has accepted himself to be situated in this world of Maya. What sort of Maya? Maya is said to be Bhutendriya Shayamayi. This Maya has Pancha Mahabhutas and then the Indriyas and all that. Especially it is talking about body. So he has accepted this body, which is actually Maya's vikar only, material energy's transformation in terms of the senses and the gross elements and subtle elements and my mind and all that, Bhutendriya Shayamayi. So I have accepted it because of my karma, and that's why I am bound. But the Lord is also in the same body as if bound, accepting this body which is Maya's transformation. But very big difference. Aste, but although he is in this condition, he remains Vishuddham, Avikaram, Akhanda Bodham. Very clear. Jiva says Lord remains Vishuddha. He remains completely pure. Visheshena Shuddha. सिर्फ शुद्ध नहीं है वो. He is Vishuddha, which means he is actually transcendental sattva. He is Shuddha sattva. He is not just sattva guna. So although he is there in this body, he remains transcendental. Avikaram. He remains free from transformation. Akhanda bodham. His knowledge is never ever lost. In fact, he is Vishuddha. He is always transcendental and pure because he is avikar, because he never undergoes transformation. Neither his body undergoes transformation, nor his mind undergoes transformation. Bodily transformation, you understand. Mental transformation means, you know, I like this, I don't like this is pleasurable, this is miserable, this is frustrating, this is exhilarating. This is called vikar. So he is devoid of any physical, emotional vikaras. He remains the transcendental person. Why is that? So one word is the cause of the prior. He is Vishuddha because he does not undergo any. There are no vikaras that come in him. And why do vikaras don't come in him? Because akhanda bodha, because his knowledge is never lost. He remains on that enlightened transcendental platform always. Jiva does not remain like that. Jiva's situation is not akhanda bodha. It is khanda bodha. It is avruta bodha. It's covered. But Supreme Lord, he's just bedecked with, he has all the potencies. Vagisha yasya vadane lakshmir yasya cha vakshasi yasyaste hridaye samvittam nrsimham aham bhaje. Sridhar Swami says that I bow down to that Lord Nrsimha, Vagisha yasya vadane, that Supreme Lord, Mother Saraswati, she is there on his tongue whenever he speaks, and that Saraswati serves him. That is his energy, Vagisha, transcendental Saraswati, not the Prakrit Saraswati, Divya Saraswati. Lakshmir yasya cha vakshasi, and on his vaksha, chest, the goddess of fortune resides, one who bestows all the greatest fortune on anyone. She is actually always residing on his chest. And yasyaste hridaye samvid, and in his heart, the complete knowledge potency is always residing there. So he remains a transcendental person no matter wherever he appears, whether it is material world, whether it is spiritual world, or whatever, whether it is Brahman or anything. Meaning wherever he appears, whichever place, that is actually, he remains Vishuddha. Because he never undergoes any vikaras only. No material vikaras that he undergoes. Because his knowledge is never ever covered, akhanda bodha. So you can see, although Jivatma is recognizing this fact that Lord is there in this world and he has accepted his existence in this material form, but he remains completely transcendental. It's not like Jiva. Can we talk about Jiva as Vishuddham when the Jiva is covered by material nature? No, it is not Vishuddham, it is Ashuddham. Can we say that Jiva is not undergoing any vikara? No, there are vikaras, so much of vikara. Sukha, dukkha, and his whole body is actually caused by vikara of material nature. Tat Shakti Parinama, that's the philosophy. It is a parinam of the material energy. And is Jiva Akhanda Bodha? No. His knowledge is completely covered, covering potency, kicking potency. Maya is acting on him. So that's why, that's the difference. Atapyamane hridaye vasitam namami. And how is that Supreme Lord realized within the heart? He is there in everyone's heart. But why is that you are praying like this, O Jiva, but somebody else is not praying like this? So what causes such a stark remembrance in your heart? So he says, Atapyamane hridaye vasitam. Yes, it is true. This Supreme Lord is perceived. he is realized in that heart which is repentant. So I am feeling a great repentance now. And that's why this Lord is giving me his remembrance. Atapyamane hridaye, atapyaman, that heart which is burning, not with material desires, but with repentance. So then in that heart, the Supreme Lord manifests his presence. Otherwise, Paramatma is there in everyone's heart. But how many people can feel that presence of Paramatma? It's not, right? In the first canto, also, Srila Sutta Goswami, in the second chapter, he gives the example that Paramatma's presence is like the presence of a fire in the wood. So you see the wood, there is fire element in that, but you can't perceive it, right? Only when that fire is ignited by coming in touch with the fire, so then we see that that fire element can be perceived now. In the wood it was there. It starts blazing. So similarly, Paramatma is there in our heart, but unless and until we, ignite that presence by Shravanam, Kirtanam, we cannot perceive that Lord in our heart. When we ignite that, the Shravanam, Kirtanam process is being compared to like, setting the wood on fire, igniting it, and then that will actually in turn show that how the wood had that fire element when the wood starts burning with great ferocity. In fact, that fire will burn the wood itself. Similarly, by Shravanam Kirtanam, when we invoke that presence of Paramatma in the heart, it will also burn down all upadhi. Burning of the wood is compared to burning of all upadhis, false designations, material body and also subtle body. It will be destroyed and one will remain a very pure soul, ready to go back home, back to Godhead. So that is the point. Atapyamana ridhaye vasitam namami. In this verse, it is said, Vishuddham avikaram akhanda bodham. So you can see, once you understand the verse nicely, no, the purport is very easy to understand what is being said, right? The super soul is always sitting apart from all contamination, Vishuddham. Living entity is not like that. Living entity is contaminated and suffering. But that does not mean that because Lord is also with him, so Lord also has a material body. No. Krishna remains Vishuddha in that condition, transcendental. That's the point. It is said here, Atapyamane hridaye vasitam. He is in the heart of every living entity, but he can be realized only by a soul who is repentant. So it's very important that the heart is repentant. See, weakness of heart, contamination in our conditioned stage, it is understandable, but at least one should be repentant. One should feel that I want to get rid of this impurity in the heart. One should pray to the Lord that, my Lord, my heart is not pure. How will I invite you to reside in this heart, right? If the place is very dirty, who wants to come there, right? So if we want to invite Radha Krishna in our heart, and if that heart is a very dirty, dirty place, so it is a very pathetic condition, right? So at least one feels repentant in the heart that, yes, actually, my heart is not pure. And one can pray to the Supreme Lord, one can do his sadhana and service with this very sincere prayer of repentance, like that. Repentance of forgetting Supreme Lord and repentance of clinging on to the material desires, not ready to give up keeping that curiosity of the material desires. So that is our fallen condition. So at least as a sincere sadhaka, we can be repentant. Prabhupada also writes in first canto that repentance comes in the heart of a good soul, in Parikshit Maharaj section. Yes, so that's how, that will also keep one humble, right? That will not make one proud. Otherwise, one may go on a different track also of thinking like he is a very high class sadhaka or something like that. Uh, but if we understand our contamination and if we understand our fallen condition, then we will also remain humble this way. So that's why very beautifully he is saying, Atapyamane hridaye vasitam, like that. All right. One more verse in which he says, especially in this next verse, what is the difference between him and the Lord? If the akshep is like this, that, okay, so Lord is also staying in the heart, you are also staying there as a spirit soul. So agreed that Lord is always pure and all that, but are you also not pure always? Asango hayam purusha. It is said in the Upanishads that purusha, meaning the jiva, is also nothing to do with the material world. So what exactly is the difference between two of you? So he speaks again. यह पंचभूत रचिते रहित शरीरे छन्नो यथेन्द्रिय गुणार्थ चिदात्मको हम तेना विकुंठ महिमान ऋषिम तमेनम वंदे परम प्रकृति पुरुषयो पुमांसम. Yes, Prabhu.
I am separated from the Supreme Lord because of my being in this material body, which is made of 5 elements, and therefore my qualities and senses are being misused, although I am essentially spiritual. Because the Supreme Personality of Godhead is transcendental to material nature and the living entities, because he is devoid of such a material body, and because he is always glorious in his spiritual qualities, I offer my obeisances unto him.
Yeah. So I am different. Lord is different. We have a great difference amongst us. I mean, Lord cannot be compared with a conditioned soul like me. How is that? यह पंचभूत रचिते रहितः शरीरे छन्नो अयथेन्द्रिय गुणार्थ चिदात्मको हम. See, as far as I am concerned, aham panchabhuta rachite sharire, in this body, which is transformation of earth, water, fire, air, ether, it is made up of these substances. My condition is what? My condition is channa. I am covered, I am hidden in this body. Ayathendriya gunartha chidatmakaha. My condition is like this, that I am actually covered by this body, which is made up of senses and sense objects, my mind, and also the soul, chidatmakaha. So basically, my existence, it is conglomeration of matter and spirit. He is saying like that. That's the meaning of ayathendriya gunartha chidatmakaha. Chit is also there because he is spirit soul, but there is also indriya, gunas, artha, and all that stuff. There are senses, there are sense objects, there are desires of the mind, and all that. You can see. Unfitly, my condition is very unfit, ayatha. Why? Because I am covered by this body of senses and objects of the senses and chit, which means ego. It can mean also these factors like ego and all that, or it can also mean that my existence is basically covered by these spirit as well as, it's a conglomeration of spirit and matter. In the sense that in the material world, the jiva's existence is what? It is basically soul covered by the body, no material bodies. So that body has a aspect of gross body, subtle body. So it's basically in the material world, jiva is combination of matter and spirit. But as far as Lord is considered, rahitaha, rahit, finished. He is devoid of it. He is not indriya gunartha chidatmakaha. No, he is rahitaha. See, two words in Sanskrit come, rahitaha and sahitaha. So for Jivatma, he is sahitaha. He is along with, mind, senses, and ego, and, antakaran, mana, buddhi, ahankar, chitta, bahyakaran, which means external senses, antakaran, which means subtle body. But as far as Supreme Lord is considered, he is rahitaha. He is devoid of all that. He remains a transcendental personality. And that is why Tena Vikuntha Mahimanam Rishim. So that's why, although he is there in this material body, he remains a Vikuntha Mahimanam. His Mahima, his splendor, his glory, it is never ever restricted, it is never ever covered. Jivatma, is he a Vikuntha Mahima? No, he is Vikuntha Mahima. We see that he is consumed and covered by material nature. So his condition becomes very, very sad and pathetic. But Supreme Lord, he remains Avikuntha Mahimanam. Avikuntha. So you can see that his Mahima, his glory, it actually remains always unobscured, uncovered, Prabhupada writes. So that's why he is actually not like me. He's Rishim. He's actually transcendental. He's all-knowing. Although he's in the material world and in the material body, he remains always Sarvagya, all-knowing Rishi. So we see that prior aspect in the prior verse also, Akhanda Bodham had come. And that same aspect is spoken here as Rishim. It's the same aspect. So that Supreme Lord, Vande Parama Prakriti Purushayoho Pumamsam. So I bow down, I take shelter, I pay my respects to that Supreme Lord who is actually Prakriti Purushayoho Param Pumamsam. He is transcendental to material nature also, he is transcendental to jivas also, and he is transcendental to actually even Mahavishnu, who is said to be also Purusha. Prakriti Purusha, that phrase can mean actually Supreme Lord, Mahavishnu, and Purusha can also mean the Jivatma, right? In Sankhya, the word Purusha refers to the Lord, meaning the Mahavishnu, because he is master of Prakriti. And Purusha also means Jiva because he wants to be or tries to be master of Prakriti. So, one is a false master and one is actually a master. So both are known as Purushas. So here he is offering obeisances to that Lord who is actually transcendental to Prakriti as well as transcendental to Mahavishnu. So who is that person? That is actually Krishna. That is Supreme Lord. Param word has come. So he is offering obeisances to that Bhagavan, Shri Krishna, who remains actually transcendental to Prakriti as well as Purusha in this way. So you can see this is how he's expressing the difference. The difference between the living entity and the Supreme Personality of Godhead is that the living entity is prone to be subjected to material nature, whereas the Supreme Godhead is always transcendental to the material nature, Rahita, and he remains transcendental. Since the identity of the living entity is very minute, he is prone to be subjected to material nature. So yes, Jivatma's nature is Anu, Lord is Vibhu, and that's why Jivatma can be put under the material nature. The entire process of devotional service is to purify oneself of this contamination of material nature and put oneself on the spiritual platform, where he is qualitatively one with the Supreme Personality of Godhead. So yes, asango hyayam purusha, the living entity is liberated also. But point is, that is his constitutional position, but currently his condition is very much compromised. Although living entity remains transcendental, even when he is under the material nature, transcendental in the sense that that atma does not lose its nature; it remains the same nature. So from that sense, it is said asango hi ayam purusha. But point is, certainly that atma identifies itself with mind and this whole apparatus of mind, body, senses, and all that. And because of that, his natural constitution and knowledge is completely covered. So it is a condition which is extraneous on the jiva. It is not that it is imaginary condition. No, it's actually suffering for the jiva. He is actually in a fallen condition that way. So that's why his material contamination is temporary, but his actual position is that he is liberated. So that's why that state of material contamination, although temporary, it is there actually. Mayavadis, they don't accept any material contamination only. They say that this whole, Mayavad, it is not so much about theory of illusion, but it is actually theory of illusion of illusion. You understand it? They say that actually there is no Maya only. Or they say that we can't tell whether Maya is there or not. There is only Brahman that exists. So if you ask them in the ultimate sense, is the jiva bound or not? So they say no, there is no bondage. So if there is no bondage, then there is no liberation also. They say yes, there is no bondage, there is no liberation. Because there is no one only to be get liberated. There is only Brahman. तो कोई है ही नहीं. Who is there to get liberated apart from Brahman? So that's why actually for them the bondage is also Maya. But this is not Vaishnava philosophy. We don't say that bondage is Maya. Bondage is real. And that's why the solution, the liberation is also real. This way. So that's how this aspect is spoken by him over here. I will take till 16 and then pause if to see if there is any question, and then we'll again proceed. Yanmayayoruguna karma nibandhanesmin samsarike pati charansdabhishramena nashta smriti punarayam pravranita lokam yuktya kaya mahadanugrahamantarena.
The human soul further prays. The living entity is put under the influence of material nature and continues a hard struggle for existence on the path of repeated birth and death. This conditional life is due to his forgetfulness of his relationship with the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Therefore, without the Lord's mercy, how can he again engage in the transcendental loving service of the Lord?
Yeah. So, whenever you study prayers, you always remember that from one prayer to another prayer, there is certain akshepa, or there is certain thought process, you can say. And that you can try to understand that. Once you understand, then the whole prayers becomes very relishable affair. It's like then very nice that why after this is being spoken, after this being spoken. So acharyas try to reveal those akshepas, and in that way the prayers remain a continuous flow of thought and not some discrete, disconnected kind of verses. No. So in the first verse, he took shelter of the Supreme Lord. And in second verse, he spoke about who that Supreme Lord is. Third verse, he spoke about how is he different from the Supreme Lord. So if the akshep is like this, that okay, so you have the knowledge, that means you know who is Paramatma, you know who is Jivatma. Huh? So if Gyan is there, then why do you need to take shelter of Supreme Lord? That's it, no? Gyan is there. Jnanad moksha. Jnana will lead to moksha. Why do you have to soham sharanam vrajami chalat charanar vindam? Why you have to take shelter of the Supreme Lord? If this is the objection, Sridhar Swami raises this objection like that. So in answer to that, the Jiva is saying this verse, text 15. He says, Yuktya kaya mahadanugraham antarena. Nashta smriti. Actually, I had lost all my remembrance, uh, whatever remembrance was there, probably of Supreme Lord and all that I had lost. So kaya yuktya, if it was not for actually the Supreme Lord's anugraha, mahadanugraha, mahadanugraham antarena, if it was not for Supreme Lord's mercy, actually by what means I could have again remembered him? You are saying that this jnana is enough. Why am I taking shelter of his lotus feet? But actually, by his mercy only, this jnana has been revived, and it has been the remembrance, the spurti has been given by him only. So that's why, how will I forget him? How can I, not take shelter of his lotus feet? Kaya yuktya mahad anugraham antarena. If it was not for Lord's mercy or Lord's representative's mercy, like Gurudev's mercy, uh, if it was not for him, how would have I actually remembered him in this particular condition? And nobody else is reminding me, right? Here in the womb, is there anybody else? Are there people around me? Those worms and all, they are not going to remind me of Krishna. Uh, so, except for that Lord's anugraha, kaya yukta, और क्या लॉजिक है मुझे बताइए? That in the womb of the mother I am able to remember him. Although Nashta Smriti, although I had lost all my remembrance of the Supreme Lord, I had forgotten him, but that person I am again able to remember in this condition where nobody can help me actually, except the Lord's grace. So that's why I take shelter of his lotus feet. Huh? Jnanad moksha. But actually, who is giving that jnana? Krishna is only giving that jnana. So that's why, how can I not take shelter of his lotus feet? So he is smashing this idea that actually, if you have jnana, then why do you need bhakti? Bhakti only gives jnana, and that jnana will help you to transcend the material existence. So this is it. So actually, I had lost all my remembrance in samsarike pathi, in the path of material existence. That path is described as yanmayayo rugana karma nibandhane. This path of material existence, it causes such a bondage because of the karma, which is, you know, in control of the various modes of material nature. Huh? Mayaya uruguna karma nibandhane. That is the qualifier of material world, that word. Huh? This material world actually is a network of bondage caused by the karma, which Maya is, that knowledge of karma she has, and accordingly she is influencing the modes and all to act in our life. So, on this path of material world, charans tadabhishramena, wandering alone in this material world, actually I am tired and I am exhausted and exasperated. Um, and because of that, I have lost all my intelligence, I lost all remembrance. But by Krishna's grace, punarayam pravarnita lokam. Now I have again accepted these lotus feet. I have again accepted this spiritual life. Lokam here refers to spiritual world and spiritual people. It does not refer to material world here. Punarayam pravronita lokam. By His mercy only again I have revived my intelligence, remembrance by Krishna's mercy, and again I am accepting His lotus feet and the spiritual world and the Vaishnavas as my goal of life. So how was this possible without his anugraha? It is a beautiful prayer actually, because you can see in that mother's womb, is there any question of being able to be helped by anyone else? Uh, so he is recognizing that in that womb, when I am remembering the Supreme Lord, whose grace is that actually? It is directly Krishna's grace. He is directly giving me that remembrance. Otherwise, it was impossible, because who is there to impart any instructions there? Is there anyone uh, in mother's womb? So that's why he says, I just want to take shelter of this Lord. Uh, I just want to offer myself at his lotus feet. Uh, The Mayavadi philosophers say that simply by cultivation of knowledge by mental speculation, one can be liberated from the condition of material bondage. But here it is said, once one is liberated not by knowledge but by the mercy of the Supreme Lord. Yes, because knowledge, today one is remembering, tomorrow one can forget also, right? Now, who knows? But the Supreme Lord's mercy, by that one will always remain mindful and careful and remembering all that knowledge. Mattah smritir jnanam apoham cha, Krishna says, he is the source of all knowledge, he is the source of all forgetfulness. So that's why uh, the knowledge may be there, but that knowledge, the memory of that knowledge and the forgetfulness of that knowledge, that is actually Krishna gives that. So in the end, it is mercy of the Supreme Lord. Uh, Sometimes we see that we may read like great deal of Shastra and we may know a lot of intricate philosophy. But when Maya comes showing her charms, then we are smashed to pieces, right? So, our mind may get contaminated, our mind may get attracted. So that time we understand that actually knowledge is having one thing, if you have some little sattvic lifestyle and you have some skills, you know how to analyze certain subject matter, then you can have great knowledge. But to be able to remember that knowledge, that needs mercy of the Lord. Uh, that will depend upon our intentions, how seriously we want to actually remember the Lord. Uh, this way, so Prabhupada is writing such a beautiful line. One is liberated not by knowledge, but by the mercy of the Supreme Lord here. Arguments may be put forward as to why we have been put under the influence of this material energy by the supreme will of the Lord. So that is because of forgetfulness of the conditioned soul. What caused that forgetfulness? Well, that is difficult to know. Uh, Whatever. The Jiva, he made that free choice, uh, free will he has utilized to uh, forget the Supreme Lord. And that's why nikatastha maya tare jhapati adhare. The misuse of independence. Obviously, Krishna cannot punish us without the reason, right? Or Krishna will not cause the miserable condition for us. So, logically speaking, it should be misuse of independence. Because if we accept Krishna as Surudam Sarvabhutanam and also as Swarat, also as Sarvagya, huh? Right? Janmadyasya yatonvayaditarataschaर्थेषु abhijna Swarat. If Krishna is Abhigya, meaning all-knowing, if Krishna is Swarat, means all-powerful, and he is also all-merciful, then what can be the reason of the bondage of the jiva except misuse of his own free will? That way. How that misuse happened, that is difficult to know. But then point is, yes, mameva ye prapadyante, anyone who surrenders unto the Supreme Lord, he can overcome the influence. So that's why jiva here is taking the shelter of the Supreme Lord. The activities of conditioned souls under influence of material nature are also explained here. That first line, Yanmaya yo uruguna karma nibandhane. That aspect he is speaking. Okay. So Ishvara, that Supreme Lord, I take his shelter because actually by his mercy only the knowledge will remain or knowledge will vanish. He is only the one who gave this knowledge to me. Ishvara eva jnanada. Ishvara only, Supreme Lord only has given this knowledge that Jiva reiterates in this next verse. Jnanam yade tadadadhat katama sadeva त्रैकालिकं स्थिरचरेष्वनु वर्तितांशः तं जीवकर्म पदवीम् अनुवर्तमानाः तापत्रयोपशमनाय वयं भजेम. Yes.
No one other than the Supreme Personality of Godhead, as the localized Paramatma, the partial representation of the Lord, is directing all inanimate and animate objects. He is present in the three phases of time: past, present, and future. Therefore, the conditioned soul is engaged in different activities by his direction, and in order to get free from the threefold miseries of this conditional life, we have to surrender unto him only.
Yeah. So you can see that Jiva is speaking with great conviction. We have to surrender unto him only. What is this objection that why are you surrendering unto his lotus feet? In fact, tapatrayopashamanaya vayam bhajema. We will worship the Supreme Lord's lotus feet only. Why? Jnanam yad etad adadhat katama sadeva traikalikam. Jivatma is saying here that this knowledge, which is Traikalikam, which is the knowledge of past, present, and future, because I mean, Jivatma in mother's womb, he is actually able to see how he's suffered before also, and for lifetimes he has been suffering. So, in a way, that Traikalikam knowledge, the knowledge of his past and the current condition, in this knowledge which is giving him understanding of past, present, and future in the sense that how he should lead his life now, how he should surrender unto the Supreme Lord. That's why that knowledge is said to be Traikalikam. So this Traikalikam knowledge has been given by whom except the Supreme Lord? Katamah sadeva jnanam adadhat. अरे कौन से देव ने दिया है ये ज्ञान? Like that he is speaking. कोई देवता ने दिया क्या ये ज्ञान मुझे? Actually, ये तो भगवान ने ही दिया ना ये ज्ञान. And he is only giving this knowledge to everyone. How do you know that? Sthirachareshu anuvartitamsha. Because he is only situated as the Paramatma in everyone's heart. And we know that. He says, Matta smriti jnanam apohanam cha. He is there in animate and inanimate objects as amsha, anuvartitamsha. In fact, he is saying that Krishna is that Lord, and that Krishna's Amsha is there in every heart as Paramatma. So actually, Lord only, Krishna only has given this knowledge to me, my past condition and how I should be leading my life. So that's why Tam Jiva Karma Padavim Anuvartamana. So that's why I take shelter of that Supreme Lord. Tapatrayopa Shamanaya. In order to be freed from all these threefold miseries. While I am traversing this material world, Jiva Karma Padavi. Padavi means the path. So, as a Jiva who is traversing in this material world, suffering my karma, I take shelter of his lotus feet so that I can transcend this material misery of three types, Trividha Kleshas. So, this is how he is praying, that actually Supreme Lord is the one who has directed me with this knowledge, and that's why I take shelter of his lotus feet. To one who wants to be materially satisfied or one who wants to lord it over material nature, the Lord gives the opportunity to forget his service and engage in the so-called happiness of material activities. So Prabhupada is talking about that aspect of Matta Smriti Jnana Vipohanam. If you want forgetfulness, Krishna will give that. If you want remembrance, Krishna will give that. Both come from him only, depending on what is intensity of our desire. If we want to forget Krishna, he will give us forgetfulness. If we think like, oh, I want to enjoy my senses, and why is Krishna or this knowledge of Shastras, it acts as an obstacle, or we are not very intense and eager in our desire to remember the instructions of Shastra, then we will not be able to remember. But if we are very eager and intense and we prayerful, that Krishna, let me be remembered, let me able to remember your lotus feet always. So then the Lord will give his remembrance, thereby keeping us away from the Maya. This knowledge cannot be imparted by anyone other than the Supreme Lord or his representative. Katamo Sadeva is saying, Brahmand Brahmite Kon Bhagyavan Jeev, Guru Krishna Prasade Paye Bhakti Lata Beach. It is not possible except Supreme Lord or his representative like Gurudev. So that's why Jiva is offering his obeisances. Therefore, there is no possibility of one's being situated in his own position unless he is blessed by the Supreme Personality of Godhead. And the spiritual master is therefore the mercy manifestation of the Supreme Person. So Jivatma is also expressing his gratitude that by great mercy of spiritual master in my previous life, and now in this condition, by great mercy of that Supreme Lord, in this condition, I am able to remember his lotus feet and again start aspiring for his lotus feet. Pravranita lokam yuktya kaya mahadanugraham antarena. Last verse spoke about that. So in this verse also, he's speaking in the same line. Okay. So in this way, further 4 more verses are there, 17, 18, 19, 25 more verses. Yeah, but before that, are there any questions on what we discussed? Anything you want to ask on what we discussed? Yes, Parjanya Priya Prabhu.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji. Thank you very much for nicely explaining these verses. Wonderful prayers. So, थोड़ा सा technical question, direct question नहीं है, and it has been addressed in, I guess, verse number 15 also. Like we see that when this jiva will take birth, he will learn ka kha ga a b c d, and he will learn basic things of life. And now he is speaking the essence of the entire Bhagavatam, philosophy, Vedanta. So it seems like Gajendra also we can see. It seems only mercy of the Lord How can we see that? Or this prayers has been rephrased into such, क्या कहते हैं, with in Sanskrit verses like that, it might be some different language, different thing. So your comment on it?
Yeah. No, actually, here, yes, you can assume that these are the prayers of the Jiva, which Vyasdev is just reiterating. Because this aspect is certainly there, that in the womb of mother, the Jivatma, when it is being said, Traikalikam Jnanam Adadhat, he has actually given this knowledge here, uh, the knowledge of my past, present, and future condition. And that's why I see that how can this Spurti come in my heart? That's why Yena Idrishi Gatiradarsha Satonu Rupa. So all these phrases the acharyas have translated in this manner that actually the Jivatma is completely enlightened in this condition. He is praying like this in a position of complete enlightenment. That's why he is feeling such a great gratitude. He's speaking with such eloquence and with such in-depth knowledge. So it is true. Now, what happens is once he comes out, then as we will see that in one of the future verses, that yes, it is the nature of the material world that once he comes out and this whole process of birth and all, so he loses that again, that smriti is lost. But as soon as it is revived by association of Vaishnavas, then we see that immediately, that knowledge is immediately revealed within his heart. So now such a devotee may look like a devotee who has spent 2, 3 years, but his realization will be of extraordinary caliber. Why? What is happening is he has accessed the prior realization, which was covered, uh, which was covered for some time. So yes, in the mother's womb, we see that Jivatma, he is not. We are not saying that he is a pure devotee. He is almost pure, agreed. But if he was pure devotee, then we see that he would not be there in first foremost place in the mother's womb. But once he comes out, then it is certainly mentioned that that is the last life for such a person. But his prayers in the mother's womb are said to be very, very enlightened prayers. Jiva Goswami writes that also. And he himself said, right, Traikalikam Jnanam Yadadhat. I have been blessed by Supreme Lord in this way, where I am able to understand my past, present, future, how I suffered in my prior life, and all those aspects. So, yes, these are the thoughts of Jiva, which Vyasdev is just sort of reiterating. But he is blessed with that sort of remembrance there. That's why his prayers actually are very wonderful prayers this way.
Thank you, Prabhuji.
Vilas Vardhan Prabhu?
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. Prabhuji, in the, I think, first one, shloka, only one point came. So, that regarding only want to just clarify. So, of course, in the, it becomes clear, but it's still, there is little ambiguity. It comes the way it is presented regarding that Ata Nana Tanu, or in Bhagavad Gita also, Lord accepting various forms like that it is mentioned. Manushim, in Bhagavad Gita also, Manushim Tanum Ashritam, taking shelter of a body, it appears like that. And in the same, that 10th canto also, Anugrahaya Bhaktanam, Manushim Deham Ashrita. So, because like generally our acharyas catch the impersonalist when they describe the meaning. But here I think the Mayavadis must be catching our points, and they may be trying to take it another way also. So I just wanted to ask, have acharyas given some understanding of this? Why Shastra says like this? Why it is mentioned like that?
No, bro, that feeling is that feeling is more because of not being so much from culture. We are not from culture of Sanskrit and how the words are used in Sanskrit, right? We have a certain sense of, okay, if words like grihit or at they have been used, But if you see the way Shastras use them, they are like used in many, many different sense. Huh? There is such a variety of usage like that. Huh? So now Manushim Tanum Ashritam, words like that. So Manushim Tanum Ashritam, literally, it can mean that he is appearing, uh, with a material body, or it can also mean Manushim Tanu can also refer that he is appearing in the material world. In fact, Baladev Vidyabhushan has given that meaning to Manushim Tanu. He says that Manushim Tanu Mashritam means actually that I come in this material world. Tanu here he says refers to not the body, but it refers to the material world, universe. Anyway, Tanu is not so much a discussion. Ashritam is the discussion. Yes. So sometimes those words may appear to give us some sort of sense like that, but then you will have to see Paurva Parya, no? That's why Paurva Parya means prior statements, later statements. And seeing that, we see that some meaning. The word may try to give a certain sense, but we see Paurva Parya. In this series of verses only, in the next verse only, it is said Vishuddham, Akanda Bodham, Avikaram. So then immediately next verse he is contradicting himself, right? So that's why we have to sometimes, even if certain words may give a certain kind of sense, one may feel like that. But acharyas say that Paurva Parya, you see what is the Purva statement, you see what is the Para statement, later statement. And by that, a consistency of Lord's form or Lord's message should be maintained. Otherwise, every single verse starts contradicting like that, then that is not Shastra. So these Mayavadis, what they do, they don't worry about Paurva Parya. They just take that verse and then they say, Avyaktam Vyaktimapannam Manyante Mam. But what about before? What about later? You talk about this. पूर्व के क्या वाक्य है, पर के क्या वाक्य है, ये सब भी तो देखना पड़ेगा. This way, like that. So wherever Purva Paurva Parya, and there is one Nyaya statement which talks about the logic considering the prior statements and later statements is called as Tarka. If it is not considered, no, then it is not considered to be proper Tarka. It is considered only to be Shushka Tarka. Then it is not Vivek. It is not a proper it's not a very proper logic. It is incomplete logic, or it is some just dry logic in that way. So that's how we can understand here. First and foremost, so 2 points I said. One is how the words are used, that itself may be because we don't come from that culture of Shastric words. We may not have seen these words across multitudes of scriptures. So like a word like Brahma, right? It gives a certain meaning to us. Brahma, as soon as we hear Brahma, we feel like, why this Brahma word is there? But actually, Shastras use Brahma word very, just like for Lord, it is quite common to use that word Brahma this way. But we have learned philosophy in a certain analytical way. No, Shastra is synthetic. We are analytic. We have seen the usage of words in a certain way. But it's not like that. Like Paramatma word may come for Bhagavan in Shastra in many places. But as soon as we hear Paramatma, we have a certain understanding of Paramatma. So that is one thing, the usage of words. So Attatano, Grihitatano, Manushim Tanum Ashritam, all such words, no, they just mean that I have descended myself in this material world, or I have descended, especially with Manushim Tanum, it can mean that a body which resembles like a human form of body in that particular way. Grihit Tanu means I have manifested that body instead of accepted. So these words can mean actually all those things. So in fact, acharyas go at the level of dhatu and all to show that meaning. They show that how this dhatu means this. So that's why the meaning is actually like this. So this is one, and the second point is of Paurva Pariya. So by those 2 points, we can understand that, yeah, one cannot just pick up any word and just twist the meaning. Okay. Yeah. Okay, quickly, Narhari Thakur Prabhu and Panduram Sharan Prabhu, please. Yes, Prabhu.
Krishna Prabhuji. Prabhuji, the Jivatma who prays in the womb, he got the opportunity to going back to Godhead. So those who don't pray and they get the opportunity to engage in devotional service after coming in this material world, they also praise. So their prayers after coming to this material world and Jivatma praying in the womb, how they are made a difference. Means those who pray in after coming in this material world, their prayers are not taken that much seriously. Means what makes the difference that I'm trying to understand.
Correct. No, the difference is this, that the one who is praying in womb is very special soul. That's the difference. He is extremely special because he is certainly performed bhakti in the prior life, and he got the remembrance of the Lord in the womb also. And now in this life, he will also perfect his life. Now, somebody who was an ordinary soul, but after getting association of devotees and meeting Guru, he took the bhakti very seriously, and he has now become very intense in his practice of bhakti. That is also wonderful. Finally, bhakti means what? Like, it's matter of becoming very serious in practice of bhakti and that complete surrender unto the Supreme Lord. So we see that both are glorious, no doubt. But Jivatma praying in the womb is certainly special. He is a special soul. He has practiced that bhakti even before life. Um, while someone who is an ordinary soul may not have practiced any bhakti in the prior life. It's just that by Vaishnava's great mercy and intervention of Lord and devotees, he might have received bhakti in this life, this way. So that's the only difference. But intensity can come in both cases. For this jiva who is praying in the mother's womb, certainly that intensity will be seen in his life. For the other category, if he becomes serious like that, then he can also be great devotee. He can also become very, very pure. So that's why actually the whole aspect of these prayers is not whether we prayed or we did not pray. Are we Bhagyavan Jiva or are we ordinary Jiva? That is not the point only. The point is about actually understanding that how Supreme Lord, he is such a wonderful person that he gives the remembrance of your bhakti even in the mother's womb. And then such a special soul, we see that he offers such wonderful prayers and then comes out to perform continue bhakti, practice continue bhakti in that particular manner, that way. So we take process of shelter of bhakti irrespective of who we are, and we don't have to be worried also about it. See, past is usually very tricky. We should not get into too much analysis of the past. We should worry about present and future. I have seen many people getting distracted running behind the past, trying to find out who I was and what sort of devotional sanskar I had. Why it is needed? It is not needed at all. We have to just focus on now we have received Prabhupada's mercy, and it's up to us how we want to utilize that mercy. That aspect is there. So yes, as you ask, the difference between two is that One is extraordinarily special jiva, and he is going to go back home in this lifetime itself. And another devotee, if he becomes serious, if he becomes sincere, then he may also make tremendous advancement and go back home, back to Godhead in this life. It's possible. But Sri Krishna's merciful nature of giving remembrance, even in a condition like mother's womb, that is being glorified over here. That's how Krishna is. It's very uncharacteristic, no? It's quite marvelous thing that a Jivatma can pray to the Lord in that condition also. So bhakti is, yat syat sarvatra sarvada. Bhakti can be practiced in any condition, anywhere. There is no bar for bhakti to perform. Eventually, Jivatma will pray that, my Lord, don't take me out. I am okay, happy in this condition. He says that, don't take me out only. He prays like Shukadev. Mujhe nahi bahar aana. Then, but then our Lord is very happy to, bless him and brings him out of mother's womb. So in that way, we see that these are the highlights. Okay, fine. Yes, Pandurang Sharan Prabhu.
Hare Krishna, Bhaktivedanta. This continuation of Vilas Vardhan Prabhu's question, this words used so many times, why can't the words be very specific only? Then what's the issue in using specific words which has multiple meaning is confusing always.
No, that is not there, Prabhu, not like that. See, that appears to be specific, non-specific, because we are trained in a certain way to look at philosophy. Because our acharyas or our system, and that is true with any sampradaya, they use the words in a certain way. That's what I mean by that, synthetical and analytical. We have learned philosophy in an analytical manner, while Shastra is synthetic actually. So because of that, we tend to keep on bringing that analytical approach that, okay, this word means this. That compartmentalization has happened because we learned philosophy in a certain way, that way. But that's not how the personalities like Vyasdev and all, they will speak. So the point is, for them, the overall message, the Paurva Pariya, these are the factors that matter. So that's why, see, whenever you need to teach philosophy, you have to bring in order to teach philosophy that is there in the synthetical style of Shastra, you have to bring in certain analytical terms. Whether it is Ramanuja or whether he is Madhvacharya or Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, Goswamis, whoever, they have to bring in a certain structure in order to explain. But then that structure also makes us to feel that the Shastra should come in that structure only. It's not like that. So we have to see overall message of Shastra, Paurva Pariya of Shastra, and then we see that everything makes a proper sense like that. Especially scriptures like Bhagavatam and all are quite clear. I'm telling you, if to the degree of uncertainty and non-clarity that we feel, even a Mayavadi may not feel that much uncertainty and unclarity. He is quite clear that Bhagavatam is a devotional scripture. I'm telling you because I speak to scholars. और उनको एकदम क्लियर है वो भागवतम इधर ज्यादा कुछ स्कोप नहीं है अपने लिए, but I'm saying because we have learned philosophy in a certain way, so we look for that term only there. It's not like that. Shastra doesn't speak like that. Shastra has this aspect of overall message, and they use so many words, so many different words, and we might have heard those words impersonal meanings before we heard their devotional meanings. So all these samskaras also cause a certain kind of this thing. But I can tell you the kind of questions we can ask to a Mayavadi and he cannot answer is much, much, much more than a Vaishnava interpretation of Shastras. They may not be able to answer some 2, 3, 4 things that, okay, there they may say that, yeah, it is achintya, why like that? But Mayavadis, though, you see their strategy only, no? Straight away, whenever the Dvaita comes, they say Vyavharik, and they say this is false only. For them, they don't have to worry only. Anywhere Krishna speaks Dvaita, they say this is conventional. Krishna is not speaking absolute truth. He is speaking actually Maya here. It is Mithya. So at least we don't make such radical, conclusions where Lord is speaking Maya like that, or Vyasdev is speaking Maya. So Ramanujacharya says, 95% of scripture is Maya only then, and only 5% is Advaita. That is actually truth. बाकी 95% व्यासदेव जी को काम ही नहीं है, वो बस he is speaking Maya only, like that. So it's not like that. Their strategy is actually, it is ridiculously, it's a laughing stock to say like that. That this is Vyavaharik, this is Paramarthik, this is Vyavaharik, this is Paramarthik, this is Vyavaharik, this sort of thing. So you can say that because they have learned the philosophy in that analytical style, no? So then they also compartmentalize everything like that. But in that compartmentalization, they come with this extremely radical idea that Shastra is speaking almost 95% about Maya, Mithya, and only 5% Shastra speaks Advaita. So Ramanujacharya says this is crazy to speak like this. So that's why overall message of Shastra, if you see Paurva, Parya, who can reconcile? The Vaishnavas can reconcile very well that way. So we don't have to go so much by individual words. Words are like always, Brahmeti, Paramatmeti, Bhagwaniti Shabdate, right? Now somebody can interpret that the word Brahma comes there first, so Brahma is highest. Paramatma comes second and Bhagavan comes third, so Bhagavan is lowest. Or somebody can say that Brahma comes first and Bhagavan comes the latest, so Bhagavan is the highest. It is the latest. Latest is the best, right? So now, which feature is higher? So Jiva Goswami says it is a nonsense to deal like that whether Brahma is coming first or second. He says, Pathyakramad Arthakramo Baliyan. He says Pathyakram is not very important, meaning which word comes first and second. Arthakrama, you understand those terms, what do they mean? And based on that, then you see which one is higher, which one is lower. This way. So that's how it is, Prabhu. It is, Shastra is a realm of consistent message, not ripping out certain words here or there. Okay? Makes sense?
Thank you.
Yeah. Hare Krishna. So let's go ahead. We want to finish this. Text 17. In case anybody needs any break or like that, you take it. I am not giving any break. It is just 2.5 hour session. Dehyanya vivare jataragni nasrik Venmutrapkupapatito bhrishatapta dehaha Ichannito vivasitum ganayan swamasan Nirvasyate kripanadhir bhagavan kadanu. Okay, Parjanya Priya Prabhu, you can read now. Yeah. Thank you, Prabhu. You read. Now somebody else can read.
Fallen into a pool of blood, stool, and urine within the abdomen of his mother. His own body scorched by mother's gastric fire. The embodied soul, anxious to get out, counts his months and prays, "O my Lord, when shall I, a wretched soul, be released from this confinement?"
Yes. So, in this particular condition, then the soul submits his prayer. The soul, considering that such a fallen condition is there, and it would be better to offer actually the devotional service outside mother's womb. So he starts praying to the Lord for taking him outside of mother's womb. Because in that condition, it is not very easy, to render any devotional service. We talked about the precarious position the child is in, and even the bodily structure, bodily position that he is in. Even to fold the hands must be so difficult. So considering all these factors, the child, he prays to the Supreme Lord in this manner that, my dear Lord Bhagavan, I, embodied soul, Anya Deha Vivare, I am in the bag of another person's body, meaning mother's body, Anya Deha Vivare, and I am Bhrishatapta Deha. I am extremely troubled here by all these gastric fires and acids in the body, by Jatharagni, meaning gastric fire. And this, I'm surrounded by, blood. I'm surrounded by, all these other parts which are storing the stool and the urine and, all the other abominable substances in the body, right? So he's saying that this is my condition, and I'm very much anxiety stricken and very much suffering in this condition. Ichannito vivasitum ganayan swamasan. In fact, the jiva in this condition, he wants to come out of this mother's womb, and he's counting the months, right? In the 7th month, the consciousness comes completely. It is said that in the 7th month, the child gets the complete consciousness, meaning he starts recognizing what is there, what is not there, in what condition he is in, and in that way. So at that point, it is said the child wants to literally come out of that, itaha vivasitum, and he starts counting the months. He start counting the months like, okay, this is when can I come out? This is one more month, like that. Nirvasyate kripanadhir bhagavan kadano. So he starts praying to the Supreme Lord, my Lord, when will I come out? Nirvasyate. I am such a fallen person, kripanadhi. When will I be taken out from this condition? In this way, he counts the months and very much desires to come out of that place, like that. When, my Lord, when will I come out of this place? Like that, he prays to the Supreme Lord. The precarious condition of living entity within the womb of mother is described here. On one side of where the child is floating is the heat of gastric fire, Jatharagni. On the other side are urine, stool, blood, and discharges. After 7 months, the child who has regained his consciousness, he feels the horrible condition and prays to the Lord. This way. Sometimes in such a condition, we see that the child may be even killed within the womb. Methods like abortion, and they may kill a child even when the child is like completely developed, like 7 months, 8 months, sometimes. Very sad. So already he has gone through so much suffering, and then still the child is killed again in that condition. So Prabhupada is saying that because of not having the knowledge of the suffering of the child in mother's womb, so they may perform such heinous crimes. So, yeah, the word kripanadhi is significant also. Dhi means intelligence and kripana means miserly. So kripanadhi, the jiva is calling himself as kripanadhi. I am such a miserly intelligence. So kripana and brahmana, that is understanding is based on that Brihadaranyaka Upanishad, where Yajnavalkya says that kripana means one who does not utilize this human form of life to go back home. And Brahmana means one who utilizes this form. Prabhupada quotes this in Bhagavad Gita also, 2nd chapter, Kripana and Brahmana in Karpanya Dosho. I think that was. So this is why it is mentioned here also, Kripanadhi. One who does not do so, meaning one who does not use his intelligence to go out of cycle of birth and death, just like a person who has immense wealth but does not utilize it. So human form is being compared to the great wealth, and if one does not use that wealth, it is like a kripana. He did not use the wealth for himself, not for serving others, just wasted it. It's a colossal waste of human energy. And opposite of this is Udar. Brahmana is Udar because he utilizes his human intelligence. So Jivatma's prayer is spoken in this, praying to the Lord that when will I come out, my Lord? See, when I was teaching this section, I sort of felt that this prayer is also, something like Gajendra's prayers also. Like I could see some in the mood of Gajendra and in the mood of this child, some similar kind of transformation occurs. Like how Gajendra was initially praying for the release from that, elephant body. But later he starts praying, na jiji vishe, jiji vishe na iha moyakin. He says that antar bahish chavrita ibhayonya. Ichhami kalena na yasya viplavo. He says that I, in fact, desire that which is the destruction of the ignorance, destruction of the ajnana in my heart. I don't mind if I have to be in this elephant's body, but my Lord, please destroy my ignorance. So similarly, the child also prays first for Lord to take him out, but then eventually he starts praying that no, this is actually a very fortunate condition. I think that in this condition only let me absorb myself in remembering you. This way. Yene drishim gatimasau dashamasya isha sangrahita purudayena bhavadrishena svenaiva tushyatu kritena sadina nathah kona matat prativinanjalimasya kuryat. Yes. Yes, Prabhu.
My
Please
dear
read.
Lord, my dear Lord, by your causeless mercy, I am awakened to consciousness, although I am only 10 months old. For this causeless mercy of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, the friend of all fallen souls, there is no way to express my gratitude but to pray with folded hands.
Yeah. So, when he says like this, Vishwan Chakravarti writes a very nice akshep. He says that when the child said, my Lord, when will I come out of this womb? So Lord immediately says to him, oh, you are saying like this, that, oh, I don't know, when will I come out of this mother's womb? So what, like I can take you out of mother's womb immediately? Are you saying that I am like cruel person or like that? He says that, do you consider me to be like a cruel person who will not take you out of mother's womb or like that? Because you seem to be saying, oh, I don't know, when will I come out of mother's womb? Kim nirdayatvam prasajjayasi? Vishwanath says that मैं निर्दय हूं ऐसा आप बोल रहे हैं क्या? So then he writes very nicely. So as soon as Jivatma hears this from the Lord, he says, no, 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 my Lord, not like that. So he says immediately, Sashankam, Salajjam, Sarasanadamsham. In fact, he bites his tongue. No, no, not like that, right? Suppose we say something which is wrong, and then somebody says, oh, this is what you mean. We say, no, 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 not like that. So, Sarasanadamsham. So the child is, biting his tongue and he's saying with some fear, no, my Lord, no, no, that's not what I mean. Satma dhikaram, in fact, denouncing himself, he says, No, my lord. Actually, I'm not saying you are nirdaya. In fact, you are so great. What can I do for you? How can I repay you? Uh, so that akshepa, it turns the jiva's consciousness with such an intensity of gratitude that he prays in this manner that he says, my lord, forget about calling you as nirdaya. Forget about saying you as someone who is not merciful, but actually, yena idrishim gatimaso dashamasya isha sangrahitah purudayena bhavadrishen. In fact, you are such a supreme Lord, Purudaya, you are so full of compassion that in my 10th month, meaning this child of 9 months, in this 10th month, to a 10th to a child with 10 months of age, Gyena idrishim gatim aso sangrahita. You have actually bestowed such a consciousness and you have bestowed such a remembrance and you have bestowed such an intensity to pray to you. So who can be more merciful than you? In this particular condition, who could have helped me but except you? And who has such a compassion that even in this helpless condition of a child, you have actually shown me such gati, which means you have actually bestowed such a consciousness on me, such a remembrance in my mind. Uh, so that's why Svenaiva Tushyatu Kritena Sadina Natha. My dear Lord, actually, what can I do in this fallen condition? I cannot do anything for you. I can just offer my prayers to you. Svenaiva tushyatu kritena. By your own good deed that you have done for me, by your own welfare that you have done for me, you please be pleased with that only. My condition is so helpless that actually, what can I do to you except maybe offer these prayers of gratitude, which he is doing, the Jivatma is anyway doing. Svenaiva tushyatu kritena sadinanath. Actually, this is a very beautiful prayer. My dear Lord Deenanath, you are such a friend of the fallen. So he is saying, I am that Deena. And you are master of these wretched and fallen people like me. So, what can I offer to you actually? Svenaiva kritena tushyatu. May you be pleased by your own beautiful nature. Huh? Right? Actually, spiritual master or, great devotees or Supreme Lord, what can we do for them, isn't it? By their own good nature, they are actually satisfied. Because as far as we are concerned, whatever seva we do, but it is actually nothing to what they have done for us. See, Guru has brought existence, the meaning to our existence, literally. It was like practically somebody who was mad, uh, somebody who has completely lost his mind, and that person was brought to the normalcy by someone. So he has literally given him back his life because that identity came back because of this person. So that's what Guru has done to us. That's what Lord has done to us. So actually, what can be the greater? How can we even repay them? That does not mean we sit quietly or sleep and eat and sleep. But the point is, one who has given us the identity itself, which we had lost or forgotten. What can be done for such a person? We remain eternally indebted, actually. Uh, just like somebody revives the life of someone, somebody saves a person who was dying, or somebody brings back to memory a person who had lost completely all his memory. So they have brought a meaning to their existence. They have brought meaning to their identity. So that's why he says, Svenaiva tushyatu kritena sadinanath. We are not able to do much for Guru and Krishna and all, but by their own good nature, they actually are satisfied because they are just so wonderful people. Krishna is so nice and wonderful person that he is just happy by his own good nature. Even if we are not reciprocating much, he is not uh, punishing us or complaining to us. He is just happy to help. That's it. So, from our side, we should obviously serve with a great gratitude. But that's the quality of great people, actually. They are just happy to help. They will just help and forget it. That's it. They will not expect also that, okay, I have helped you, so you should also help me, or rather, you should serve me. You should know who did favor to you. That's not even their nature. They just help and then they just forget about it this way. But as a Kritagya person, it's our duty to help and serve and please those personalities. So that's how Jivatma is praying also. Svenaiva tushyatu kritena sadinana. आपके ये कृत्य से, आपके उपकार से ही आप जो है स्वयं तुष्ट होइए. को नाम तत्प्रतिविनांजलिमस्य कुर्यात्. Actually, what sort of repaying this loan, repaying this uh, good work that you have done for me, what can be done? Vinanjalimasya kuryat. Except for folding the hands, what can actually I do? Uh, Except for folding the hands and glorifying you and praying to you. Especially all the more in that condition of being in mother's womb, right? Because there it's just impossible to do anything else except glorifying the Supreme Lord. Even Prithu Maharaj prays like this, right? When he hears the instructions of the Kumaras, and then eventually he also writes that there also yen idrishi gati, these words only come. And then he says, Kona matat pratikaroti vinoda patram. Except holding the pot of water in the hands to wash your feet. Actually, what can I do for you? Because the extent of your good work, the extent of your favor on me, the extent of giving transcendental knowledge to me, that act is like so exalted that anything else done as a reciprocation of that remains actually a very small reciprocation this way. So we are eternally grateful to Prabhupada. We are eternally grateful to Srila Gurudev and all those wonderful representatives that they have brought a meaning to our life. They have actually situated us in our identity. So, ko nama tat prati vinanjali masya kuryada. Prathu says, ko nama tat prati karoti. In fact, if somebody wants to repay, it is vinoda patram. He says, vina uda patram connects also to become vinoda patram, which means he is actually a laughing stock. He is a joker. If one thinks that I can repay Guru Maharaj, then that person is actually a joker, Vinoda Patram, this way. So that's what here Jivatma is also praying. The Lord is always seeking the opportunity to reclaim the fallen souls to his abode, the kingdom of God. We should always feel very much obliged to the personality of Godhead, for he is always anxious to bring us into the happy condition of eternal life. So we actually should always feel gratitude towards the devotees. It may sometimes happen that because we are individuals, so the moods may not match, and our idea of how to serve the Lord may be different from others. Although everybody is, one on the point of serving the Lord, but how that service should be rendered, which aspect, there the differences may come, and which is fine, which is okay, because everybody is individual and there are individual inspirations to serve Krishna. But point is, we never ever lose that aspect of gratitude. we never lose that respect for the person. We may just point out, sometimes the differences on those aspects, but to be disrespectful to them, to lose that sense of gratitude and all, that is a very pathetic condition. Dadichi says that such person is mocked by even the inanimate living entities. One who is not grateful is mocked by even inanimate, meaning dead things also. Because if you are living, then you should be grateful in that particular way. So this gratitude is so nicely being expressed by this jiva in his prayers. This prayer of the child in the womb may be questioned by some atheistic people, Prabhupada says. How can a child pray in such a nice way in the womb of his mother? But actually, what is not possible? Everything is possible, right? Everything is possible by the grace of the Lord. If Lord is there in the heart of that child, so he can inspire anything. What is not possible, right? Possible and impossible, these are the talks of only how much your knowledge is extended or restricted. That which looks to be impossible, once one has the right knowledge, may look to be very much possible, right? Einstein said that in this world, you can see everything as a miracle or nothing as a miracle, he said. So what does that mean? You can see everything as a miracle and nothing as a miracle. It means that, you can see at everything and wonder that how amazingly this Achintya Shakti of the Lord is working over here. How is this, whatever, like take something basic, like how a tree is put into that small seed, and how different seeds germinate into different uh, fruits. So if we were to replicate that by science, it is so difficult, right? But that has been put already in the nature. So if we see the aspect of creator, then we see everything as miracle. But to see nothing as a miracle, if you see everything as, okay, there are set laws and the nature has laws and they are there. So yeah, whatever, nature follows certain laws. So that's why it is not surprising. Everything is fine. So if we see physical laws like that, so then we may see nothing as miracle. So point is, you have accepted physical laws as God. That's it. No difference. There is God, religionists accepting God, and there are scientists accepting physical laws as God. That's the only difference. But otherwise, the point is certainly this whole aspect of universe and its complexity and everything, it actually demands such a great marvel, isn't it? So that's how everything is possible by the grace of the Lord. He has Achintya Shakti. So why the child cannot pray like that in mother's womb if Krishna only gives that kind of remembrance? So in fact, Lord had said, do you feel like I am uh, not merciful or like that? So he said, no, my Lord, in fact, you are the most merciful. I cannot even repay you. And in this verse now, 19, he says that, in fact, my condition is very fortunate. So in fact, now the transformation of his consciousness is occurring in the sense that from the transition from when will I come out to, my Lord, this is the perfect situation. I don't want to even come out. He will say like that in the next verse. So that transition you can see here. Pasyatyayam dhishanaya nanu saptavadrihi sharirake dama sharirya parah swadehe yat srishtaya samtamaham purusham puranam Pashe bahirvridhi cha chaityamiva pratitam. Yes, Prabhu.
The living entity in other type of body seems only by instinct. He knows only the agreeable and disagreeable sense perceptions of that particular body. But I have a body in which I can control my senses and can understand my destination. Therefore, I offer my respectful obeisances to the Supreme Personality of Godhead, by whom I have been blessed with this body and by whose grace I can see him within and without.
Yeah, thank you. So, in fact, he says, actually, I'm very fortunate to receive this human form of life. Pashyatya ayam dhishanaya nanu saptavadrihi. Indeed, Saptavadri, I see this body which is covered by 7 dhatus, but I can see that Dhishanaya, by the buddhi, by the intelligence given by you, I can see that this body is actually Dhamma Shariri. This body is in which I can exercise sense control and mind control. Dhamma Shariri. Otherwise, as far as other living entities are concerned, Sharirake Swadehe Pashyati. They only see the happiness and distress pertaining to the body. It's a very intricately put verse. There are here 3 things actually. Sharirake Pashyati, which means one kind of living entity sees only happiness and distress. Then the second living entity is Dhamma Shariri, which refers to yogis and jnanis who can exercise Dhamma, physical control, and Shama, which means mind control. And finally, the devotee, third one, who actually sees the Supreme Lord in this body. So that is a devotee. So he is saying 3 kinds of living entities, 3 kinds of human forms actually. So he says that by the intelligence given by you, I can understand that I am so fortunate in this condition that while some men or some human souls, they only perceive their happiness and distress pertaining to body. Sharirake swadehe. They only see in their body happiness and distress. This is good for senses, this is bad for senses. And then there are other who are Dhamma Shariri. They can exercise sense and mind control. But actually, by the intelligence given by you, by the remembrance given by you, I am able to pashe, I am able to see you within and without in my heart. I am able to see this. See, tamaham purusham puranam. Yat sriktaya dhishanaya. By the intelligence which is given by you, which is created by you, I am able to see that Supreme Lord within my heart and outside of my heart. So actually, I am a very fortunate person. Chaityamiva pratitam. I am able to perceive the presence of that Supreme Lord within my heart and outside of my heart. So my condition is more fortunate than those conditioned souls who can perceive only happiness, distress, or those jnanis and yogis who can exercise sense control, but they may not be interested in the Supreme Lord. But by the remembrance and intelligence given by you, I can perceive your presence in my heart and also outside of my heart. So this is my very fortunate condition. This is how Jiva is praying. The fortunate child, Prabhupada, the fortunate child in the womb of his mother realizes his superior position. And that's why he is distinguished from other bodies. Animals in bodies lower than that of the human being, they are conscious of only bodily distress and happiness. Or even the human beings who are like animals, if they are not interested in bhakti, they cannot think of more than eating, meeting, sleeping, and defending. But here, this Jivatma, his consciousness is so developed. Srashtaya, tat srashtaya, dhishanaya, that he can realize the self and the Supreme Lord. The word Damashariri means that we have a body in which we can control the senses and mind. So Vishwas Chakravarti gives these three categories. Or you can just take two categories. One is the animals, and second, Damashariri, which means the human form. That is how Sridhar Swami explains this verse. So in either case, point is that Jivatma considers himself to be very, very fortunate because he is actually able to exercise sense control and also pray and see the Supreme Lord within his heart and outside. In this way, he says that I'm very fortunate. So you can see that from the condition of considering himself to be very unfortunate and kripana, very fallen soul, he is considering slowly now himself to be actually being in a very fortunate position this way. All right, so you can see now he makes this prayer of not coming out of mother's womb actually. Soham vasannapi vibho bahu dukkha vasam garbhanna nirjigamishe bahirandha kupe yatropayatam upasarpati deva maya mithya yadanu samsriti chakrametat.
Therefore, my Lord, although I am living in a terrible condition, I do not wish to depart from my mother's abdomen to fall again into the blind well of materialistic life. Your external energy, called Deva Maya, at once captures the newly born child, and immediately false identification, which is the beginning of cycle of continual birth and death, begins.
Yeah, so you can see here he is praying now completely differently. So that's why, my dear Lord, Bahu Dukkha Vasam Vasannapi, although I am staying in this place, mother's womb, which is filled with so much of misery, Garbha na nirjigamishe, I don't want to come out of this Garbha. I don't want to come out of mother's womb. Why Bahi Andhakupe? Because outside it is Andhakupa, it's a blind well. The whole material world is a blind well. Yatra upayatam upasarpati deva maya. Where your Maya, my Lord, she just captures everyone. Because of which mithyamati, because of which I will develop, false consciousness, false identification of that I am body, and which will in turn causes further samsriti chakram, which will throw me again in the repeated birth and death. So actually, although this place is very miserable, but I am very happy to be here. Garbha na nirjigamishe. Jigamisha means the desire to go. So jigamishe means I don't have any desire to go out of mother's womb. Na nirjigamishe. This way. So you can see he's praying like Shukadev. As long as the child is within the womb of his mother, he's in a very precarious and horrible condition. But the benefit is that he revives pure consciousness of his relationship with the Supreme Lord and prays for deliverance. But outside the abdomen, once the child is born, Maya is so strong. Immediately that Maya overpowers, captures and overpowers. Right? The mother and other relatives are awaiting the child. Swajanera khole, adarera chele. Bhaktivedanta Thakur says, no. Hasiya kata no kal. Samsara lagila bhal. He says that Swajana palana kori ekamane samsara lagila bhal. All the relatives and all that, they're tossing the child and, very happy taking care of him and all. So then samsara lagila bhala. One starts getting great happiness. So he's saying that outside there is so much of Maya. Prabhupada also here in the purport, he reminds us of Shukadev. Shukadev did not want to be entangled in false bodily identification. So we see that he remained in mother's womb for 12 years, or sometimes Prabhupada says 16 years. So And then after he came out, then immediately he went to the forest. He was also saying the same thing. He did not want to come out. 12 years in mother's womb. 9 months itself is such a difficulty for mother and also for child, but especially for mother. So 12 years he didn't come out. So Vyasdev said, Arey Baba, please come out. Don't trouble your mother. So he said, there is so much Maya outside. That's why I don't want to come. So I promise you, you will not fall in Maya, Vyasdev said. No, no, what you are promising? You are yourself in Grihasthashram. The child said, you are in household life and you are promising me that I will not fall in Maya. Okay, then what should I do? You bring Mayadhish, one who is master of Maya. This story is there in Brahma Vaibhav Puran, Shukdev's birth. So then Vyasdev went all the way to Dwarka and brought Krishna. And then when Krishna came, and Krishna promised the child, my dear child, I promise you, you will never fall in Maya after you come out of mother's womb. So then the child came out. And that child, Krishna immediately gave him the name Shuka, because he was speaking like a parrot. Vyasatvadiya Tanaya Shukavad Manodnyam Brute. Brahma Vaivat Puran says. व्यास जी आपका लड़का जो है शुक के जैसा बड़े मनोहर वक्तव्य करता है. So that's why his name will be Shuka from today. That's how Shukdev got the name. And then immediately he left for the forest because he did not want to be entangled in Maya. So you can see the child is also praying like that. He says, no, I don't want to come out of mother's womb, my Lord. I'm happy here. I can remember you. I can pray to you. And this consciousness that you have given me, I'm very fortunate that this remembrance of you has come. Right? Even Kulashekar prays like this. Krishna tvadiya padapankaja panjarantam adyeva me vishatu manasa rajahamsa prana prayana samaye kaphavata pittai kantavarodhan vido smaranam kutaste adyeva me vishatu manasa rajahamsa. Because my manasa rajahamsa, the royal swan of my mind, right now it is remembering you, my Lord. So let it enter your lotus feet immediately. Adyeva, aaj hi, abhi. Because I don't know what will happen at the time of death. I may just forget you. So that's the same consciousness. So hearing this prayer, then Lord said, come on, you want to come out or you want to stay? You Nishchinoshia, just be fixed on one thing. What do you want to do? You first said, my Lord, when will I come out? I don't know. As if I am very cruel. But then you said, no, you didn't mean that. Now you are saying you don't want to come out. So decide one thing and tell me what I should do. So then child answers that with this final prayer. So we'll take this and stop. Because then tomorrow's session, I will need just 1 hour for rest of the session. And then we'll also start the next chapter tomorrow. This prayer was the highlight actually. After this, the chapter is very simple. Tasmadaham vikat viklava uddharishya atma namashu tamasa surudatmanaiva bhuyo yatha vyasaname tadane karandram mame bhavishada upasadita vishnupadaha. Yes,
Therefore, without being agitated anymore, I shall deliver myself from the darkness of nescience with the help of my friend, clear consciousness. Simply by keeping the lotus feet of Lord Vishnu in my mind, I shall be saved from entering into the wombs of many mothers for repeated birth and death.
So, Tasmad, therefore, my Lord, Vigata Viklavaha, I shirk off, all this sadness, this agitation. I have, there is, Prabhupada is writing, all my agitation is ceased now. I don't have any agitation, any anxiety. giving up all this sadness and anxiety in my heart, uddharishya atmanam, I will deliver myself. Ashu, very quickly I will deliver myself from the uh, ignorance, tamasaha. How will you do that? Surudatmanaiva, by this buddhi, intelligence given by your, kindness. Surudatmanaiva. By this remembrance of yours given by you only, by this intelligence, I will deliver myself. Huh? Shirking of all this sadness and this anxiety and fear and everything. Bhuyo yatha vyasanam etad in such a way that again, mame bhavishyata, again, let me never ever have this great calamity, vyasanam, called as material body. See, he is calling the material body as a calamity, vyasanam, aneka randhram, this body of 9 holes, navadvara pure dehi. So it is a calamity, and I will deliver myself. I will practice bhakti and attain your lotus feet in such a way that I will never have to enter into another woman's womb. How will you do that? What is your sadhana? Upasadita Vishnupadaha. By accepting your lotus feet, Lord Vishnu's, Lord Krishna's lotus feet, accepting that and holding that in my heart, I will deliver myself. The prayer is like that Avadhut Brahmana's prayer, where he says, Aham tarishyami duranta param, tamo mukundangri nisheva yaiva. How he also says that with great determination. Aham tarishyami ananta param. He says, I will cross over this ocean of nations. So similarly, he is also saying that I'll cross over this ocean of nations. So my vidhi to do that is Shravanam, Kirtanam, Vishnu Smaranam, Upasadita Vishnupada. Taking care of this bhakti, practicing this bhakti, I will deliver myself. So I don't want to even come out of mother's womb, my Lord. I just want to practice your bhakti and in this way deliver myself from this horrible condition so that I don't have to again enter into a mother's womb. This way. The miseries of material existence begin from the very day when the spirit soul takes shelter in the ovum and sperm of the mother and father. They continue after he is born and they are further prolonged. We do not know where the suffering ends. So that's why the best thing is to therefore develop Krishna consciousness. That's the greatest. If there is any lack, that is the lack of Krishna consciousness. Upasadita Vishnupada, by taking to the process of Krishna consciousness. In Bhagavad Gita, it is said, once intelligence is his friend and same intelligence can be his enemy. So that's why Surudatmanaiva, friendly intelligence given by the Supreme Lord only. It may be questioned herein how the child can be fully Krishna conscious within the womb of the mother without any paraphernalia. It is not necessary to arrange for paraphernalia to worship the Supreme Personality of Godhead. The child wants to remain within the abdomen of his mother and at the same time wants to become free from clutches of Maya. So actually Krishna consciousness does not need also necessarily any material arrangement, right? Even in that womb, the child is saying, I will glorify you, I will offer my prayers to you. So he can do this kirtanam there also, isn't it? Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, can be chanted even within the abdomen of one's mother. This way. Krishna consciousness cannot be checked in any circumstance. The conclusion of the child's prayer is, let me remain in this condition, although it is very miserable, it is better not to fall a victim to Maya again by going outside, right? So that's the purpose of this prayer also, that Krishna consciousness can be practiced in any condition. Krishna consciousness can be revived in any condition. It's all dependent on Supreme Lord. Bhakti is a process which is beyond spatio-temporal sense. Any desha, any kala, any patra, that's the point. That's why it is said that this bhakti process only, in the Chatushloki also, it is said that, Anvay Vyatirekabhyam Yat Syat Sarvadra Sarvadra. This bhakti process, this itself is one path which is by process of Anvay and Vyatireka. It can be practiced sarvatra, in all desha, in all places, sarvada, by any candidate at any time of the day, at any time of the age. So in that verse, Vishwan Chakravarti gives beautiful, Jiva Goswami gives very beautiful analysis that he gives the example of who all practiced bhakti in what all conditions. Someone who practiced in the womb also, someone who practiced as a child, someone who practiced as a youth, someone who came very late at old age in bhakti and still perfected by accepting bhakti. So we can see Yat Syat Sarvatra Sarvada, this process actually can be practiced anywhere. And that's why the child is saying that I don't want to even come out of mother's womb, my Lord. I just want to utilize this remembrance given by you and want to cross over this ocean of nations by remembering your lotus feet. Upasadita Vishnu Pada. So that is the prayers of the Jiva, very beautiful prayers. So to summarize, the Jivatma began with surrender unto the Supreme Lord, taking shelter of his lotus feet. Then he spoke about who is that Supreme Lord and how is he different from the Jiva. He spoke about that particular aspect. Then after that, the Jivatma spoke about how, you can see here, just a minute. Then Jivatma spoke about how it was not possible that this memory, the remembrance of the Lord, could come except His mercy only. So that's why who else but Him that I should take shelter of? Kamva dayalum sharanam vrajena, like that. To Ishvara eva jnanada. Lord is only the one who gave this Traikalikam Jnanam to me, and I worship, that's why Him only. So in that condition, he first makes the prayer to come out of mother's womb, saying to the Lord that, my Lord, I don't know when will I come out. So if the Lord were to say to him that, do you mean to say that I am not merciful enough? So he says, no, actually you are extraordinarily merciful. In fact, I cannot do anything to reciprocate with you. Svenaiva tushyatu kritena sadinanath. My condition is extremely fortunate. Because I have got this human form of body with ability to exercise shama and dhamma and all that in this way. So that's why, my Lord, I don't want to come out of mother's womb. Maya will capture me if I come out. So I'm happy here. And finally he says, I will just utilize this bhakti opportunity and the remembrance given by you. And in this way, I will deliver myself. Srimad Bhagavata Mahapuranam ki jai. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Hare Krishna. So, is there any question you want to ask? For others who need to go for prasadam, please go ahead. If any question is there, you may ask. And tomorrow we'll end this chapter in the first half. Yes, Parjanya Priya Prabhu.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji. Thank you for nicely explaining these beautiful prayers. And वो गलती से मेरा आई गेस कीबोर्ड दब गया था बुक से, तो एक रिएक्शन आया था. It was by the book. So Prabhuji, I have two questions. First is like you were telling, 95% Mayavadis are saying is everything is, they have gone crazy. Why still they have such a, उनकी philosophy में they have so much faults in their philosophy. We can see everything is Vyavarik, which they cannot explain. Why are they such a huge following still? Because they are also people of logic. They understand logic. They understand everything.